Yo people, it's your boy Guilly here and I'm finally back, okay? It's been a very long time since I've posted a video. I'm not gonna say how long to be specific, but you know, it has been a while, but we're back and we're back with a banger. I promise you, we will be posting so much more over the summer and obviously continuing onwards. But this video I have for you today is honestly a banger, and as you've seen from the title, we are watching and rating the top 10 highest grossing movies of all time. Yes, there was many cult classics in here. Yeah, so obviously I'm not gonna state the 10 right now, you'll know them as we go along. But without further ado, I guess let's get straight into it with number 10. Alright, you're coming with me to make a nice coffee. So at number 10 we have Lion King. Well, not the original, but the remake. And I do not have many nice words to say about it. I mean, on the bright side, the plot is still the same as the original, so it's good, but it's just missing that, like, I don't know, it doesn't give me that, like, great, like, wow factor when I'm watching it. It's just a bit mid. If I'm being honest, it's a bit mid. The colors are bland. Yeah, the storyline's great, but it's the same as the original. You're always gonna have that good story. The colors are bland. Honestly, the pacing seems a bit weird. I'm not a very big fan, I'm not gonna lie. And if I ever was in the mood to watch a Lion King, I would watch the original, I wouldn't watch the remake. Overrating, I'm gonna give it I give it a 5 out of 10. I'll give it a 5 out of 10 because it just wasn't amazing. Okay, and at number 9, we have Jurassic World. Now, Jurassic World is great. It was very fun to watch, I'm not gonna lie. And I know I make, well, now movie content, but this was my first time watching Jurassic World and I was happy. It was fun and that's all I really expected. I didn't expect to see amazing story, amazing characters. Like, I just wanted a fun movie to watch, and this did really, I can't even find the words to say. Like, it wasn't a surprise, it was just exactly what I expected, and I was happy with that. But then again, to be in the top 10 highest grossing movies, I feel like you have to be more than just a fun movie. And for that reason, I can't give it anything more than a 6.5, which is the rating I'm gonna give, because I want more. I need more from the top 10 highest grossing movies. And yeah, it had a lot of excitement around it, which is why obviously it got the title it does. I don't know, it was okay. And I think that's really it. It's definitely better than Lion King, that's for sure. But in terms of what I can say about it, it was just okay. At least it was a mid, but it was alright, it was okay. So that's why 6.5 out of 10 is my rating for Jurassic World. Okay, now, so for number 8, I wouldn't even say it's controversial because I know it's love, but we have Inside Out 2. Now, I hadn't watched Inside Out 1 or 2, which meant I obviously had to watch 1 and then watch 2 to give my proper, like, understanding. And I know it's only asking for Inside Out 2, but Inside Out 1 was better. It was definitely better than Inside Out 2. And honestly, it's very hard to say because they were both good movies. And I actually preferred both of the Inside Out movies to the Lion King and Jurassic World. But I would have much rather preferred if Inside Out 1 was the Inside Out movie on this list. And I thought it was great. I thought Inside Out 1 was great. And I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. But Inside Out 2 kind of didn't hook me in as much. It wasn't that exciting. So I'm gonna give it, you know, not to make the scores too complicated, but I'm also gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10. Just because if I was doing it by small increments, I would have put it up maybe like a 6.8. But I'm not really gonna do it that specific. So I'm gonna give it the same score as Jurassic World. I'm gonna give Inside Out 2 a 6.5 out of 10. And I enjoyed it. I thought the new characters were good, but it just needed more. It needed a better storyline, and I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan, especially because I do think a lot of the stuff in the movie was kind of just the same in Inside Out 1. Like, you kind of just, the whole thing of them getting lost or going back to the back of mine is like kind of just the same. So I wasn't like very happy with that. So yeah, 6.5 out of 10. That's my final score for Inside Out 2, and we'll move on to number 7. Before anything else, let me just show you my insane iced coffee. Okay, moving on to number 7. We have Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, this movie is the first banger on the list. Now, Spider-Man No Way Home was, for anyone that was like really waiting for it in the time that it was coming out in cinemas, you knew that this was like the biggest thing. And like the whole wait, like, you know, the trailer that was exposed for having like an invisible person kick Lizard, and you knowing that the other Spider-Man are going to be in the movie even before they had sort of made that public. That whole wait to go and watch that in the cinema was just the best time. And this movie did not disappoint. It was very good, so enticing, even with like superheroes' long watch time. The duration of these movies, superhero movies, is getting to like 3 hours, sometimes 3 hours and a half. It's long. It's very long, but it doesn't feel long. And especially with this movie, the one thing that you have to do is really get it right. Otherwise, that 3 hours is gonna seem so long. It was amazing. Pacing was great. Characters were obviously great. So many people that we've seen before in other Spider-Man movies. And just overall, the story, everything was so good, and it perfectly sets up the next trilogy for Tom Holland's Spider-Man. And because of all of this, taking everything into account, this is definitely the first banger of this list. I have to give it an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 is my final score, and I think it perfectly represents this movie. Let's see what we've got in store for number 6. Okay, now, number 6. We're staying on the topic of Marvel, and we're also going on to another movie that absolutely dominated the whole film industry when it was coming out, when trailers were coming out, and that is Avengers Infinity War. Now, this movie was flipping insane. Like, there's not much more I can say except it is so good. And not to spoil anything for the next movie, because we are going to get onto that shortly, but I do think Infinity War was actually better. I think it was the better of the two movies. And I think one of the main reasons why I actually think it was better is because it was like the first time we've actually seen the villain win. And you never normally really see that, especially in superhero movies. It's always like he'll get dominated for a while, but then he comes back and ends up winning the crowd's hearts and everything. But like, Thanos won. And I think this is something we really don't have enough of in cinema. And it was so good. Like, honestly, the amount of people that were in it, the overall excitement, it was just non-stop. Like, there wasn't a point where they gave you a little break or rest. Like, genuinely, it was so enticing at every single point in the movie. I could watch this movie so many times and I just wouldn't get bored of it. Like, I think it's impossible to get bored of this movie. And I think for that reason, I have to give it the highest rating yet of 8.5 out of 10. I'm giving it 8.5. I'm not going to go to a 9 because I do think a 9's a bit extreme. I do think 9 to 10 territory is very like my favorite movies of all time. But anyways, let's move on to number 5. Number 5, we have got Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Now, I am a huge Star Wars fan. Like, there isn't a lot of other sort of franchises that I like more than Star Wars. In fact, I don't think there's many at all. And yeah, the newest trilogy weren't exactly the greatest success, but they were still good movies, and I do think episode 7 of all of them was the best out of the new trilogy. Like, I understand some of the criticism, but I do also think that, like, it's a great movie. I can't say the same for the two newest ones, but in terms of The Force Awakens, I thought they were going in a great direction. I love Kylo Ren's character. Obviously, Han Solo getting... Yeah. We don't talk about that. Like, I was really excited to see the rest of the trilogy after this first movie. But yeah, we're only here talking about episode 7, so let's just say I thought it was great. I thought the story was great. I'm actually gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I thought it was good. Definitely overhated. And yeah. Now, number 4, we actually have Titanic. Now, Titanic is amazing. It's definitely a classic. And I think Leo DiCaprio was amazing. Kate Winslet was so good as well. And the story's brilliant. I think the pacing's good. Characters are great. There isn't much criticism in this movie. But there is one thing that I slightly want to say, and it might not hurt people, but it's definitely going to make people feel like, what? But it's that I don't think this movie is as good as everyone thinks. Like, some people say that this is one of the best movies of all time, and it's brilliant, it's so good. And yeah, it's good, it's really good. I don't do it justice by just saying it's good. It's really good. But it is not up there for me, I don't think. And I'm not too sure the reason why. I just think it doesn't give me that wow factor. And again, that might upset people, but it doesn't give me that extra, like, oomph in a movie that I need. And so I'm gonna give the rating of... I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. And if anything, that's actually still quite high. But I can't give it near an 8. Like, it doesn't sit right with me to give it near an 8. So I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's very enjoyable. I definitely could watch it again, but I just don't think it has the same replayability as some of the other movies we mentioned on this list. And for that reason, yeah, I'll stick with a 7.5 out of 10. That brings us on down to the top 3. Now, I'm very excited to talk about these. We're finally here for number 3, and with that comes Avatar: Way of the Water. And now this is the sequel to the original Avatar, which we are going to get onto soon. So the sequel, I was expecting quite a bit, I'm not gonna lie. Not to say that it didn't give me my expectations. I thought it was good. I definitely thought it was good. But I don't know, like, it's hard to compete with the original Avatar. And that's why I have to give it a bit of justice, because it's still a very good movie. It's just, how can you sort of live up to the standards that the original Avatar set? And for that, and I will take that into account, if I hadn't set this sort of standard from the original Avatar, I would still understand that the story's great, bringing back Quaritch's great. I was excited, I'm not gonna lie, I was excited watching the movie. Like, it really kept me in. And I think that's what this movie does a great job of. It keeps you in the loop very well with new stuff that's happening, and like, it doesn't really leave you astray for any part in the movie. And it was sick. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, like, it was sick. So the flight scenes, everything is peak, especially bringing in the whole water stuff. It was so beautiful. I think visually, this movie is great, and in my opinion, better than the original Avatar in terms of visuals. But I think that's the only thing it sort of exceeds number 1 in. I'm gonna give Avatar 2 a score of 7.5 out of 10. I'm gonna give it the same as Titanic, because I think they are on the same sort of level in terms of they're both really good movies. I think 7.5 is a good place to put it. I think anything higher would be too high, and anything lower would be a bit too low. So yeah, we're going with a 7.5. Number 2. We're nearly there. We're nearly at the end. Number 2 is Avengers Endgame. Now, obviously the sequel to Avengers Infinity War. And this time, the heroes actually do win. Obviously with some casualties. Rest in peace, you know who. This movie was great. again, brilliant. But if you remember what I said before, I said I actually preferred Infinity War to Endgame. And I think not a lot of people, I think some people actually disagree with me, because that whole sort of thing at the end with like Captain America and all the Doctor Strange portals come out, and they all come out, and it's like that last final scene, like that is insane. It's so good. I don't think you can have a better sort of ending scene to a movie like that. But I'm gonna have to rate it slightly lower than Infinity War, because I just think Infinity War was so good in terms of bringing all the characters back that we haven't seen for a while. And even sometimes, whenever you have loads of little like different storylines within a movie, sometimes it's not linked together well, and it comes off as like choppy, and it doesn't really synchronize very well. But Infinity War was great at doing that. It was so good. And I think that's what really enticed me when it came to that movie. And I 100% think Infinity War was slightly better than Endgame. But Endgame was still brilliant. It was amazing. And for that reason, because I rated Infinity War an 8.5 out of 10, I'm going to rate Endgame an 8 out of 10. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. And again, if I was doing it more specific, I'd be inclined to give it like an 8.25 out of 10. But no, I'm gonna be giving it an 8 out of 10. If you haven't watched these movies, like you're missing out on so much. You're missing out on so much, especially during the time it actually came out. Like, if you weren't in the loop, you missed such a good time for cinema, honestly. We're finally there. We're finally on number 1. We're finally there. Let's go. Last but not least, we have number 1. And as many of you probably know, we have the original Avatar. Now, for a 2009 movie, this movie is so visually stunning. It looks so good. And I can completely understand why this is the highest grossing movie of all time. However, I do not think it is the best on this list. I do think it is better than the sequel, as I obviously said before. But I do not think it is level with... I don't think it's level with Infinity War. It's still such a good movie. Like, so entertaining. The characters are great. I think the villain's great. It's so fun to watch, especially because, like I was saying before, with longer movies, it really has to have a certain factor that keeps you in watching and entertained the whole way through. And it does that so well. I think it's just great as well. When you're introduced to a new type of universe, obviously Pandora looks amazing. And that's the one thing that you always look for when entering a new universe. Does it look great? Does it really keep you excited? Like, do you want to find out more about the universe? You know, seeing the floating islands, like, it's so visually stunning. Again, for the year it was made, it's insane, honestly. I think storyline was great. Pacing was great. Visually it's great. Like, I have to give it this rating, and I have this rating in my head purely because it's better than the sequel, so it's obviously going to be higher than the rating of 7.5 that I gave it. But I don't think it's on the same level of Infinity War. Obviously, I gave Infinity War an 8.5 and the sequel to Avatar a 7.5. So that means I am giving Avatar, the last movie on this list and the highest grossing movie of all time, an overall rating of 8 out of 10. And I think that's a great place to end it. I think it was honestly so fun rewatching all of these movies. It was just a very fun experience.